Okay, so now the flat colors are done, and I can go ahead and turn on the shadow layers and see how it just matches whatever color is underneath. So now what I want to do is, I had this purple background, and that was so I could judge the colors accurately, but I don't need it to be purple anymore. And you could change this to whatever you wanted. So I'm just going to turn it to white, and now you can see how it really brings everything together, and the character really pops out. So there's just a few more steps. One thing I could do is I could add a ground shadow, and the way I could just do that, a very simple way, is I'm just going to make an ellipse on the ground. This isn't accurate, but it's effective. And just fill it with like a gray color. And then I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Just going to add a slight blur to that, so it's not so crisp. And then I can just lower the opacity until it feels right. So maybe something like that's fine. And then I'm gonna add a layer, and I can do this above or below the line art. It's up to you. I like to do it above the line art because I like the line art to be affected as well. But this is going to be a special layer that is going to add color variation. So we're going to set this from normal to overlay. And now I'm going to take a big soft brush. So this is where the soft brush comes into play. And it's really important that it's big. And I want to use a light touch with this. So if you're not very comfortable with your tablet, you might want to lower the opacity. For me, I'm okay with my tablet, so I don't really have to do that. And I'm going to think about where the light's coming from. So the light's coming from the top down. So I'm thinking the top's going to be lighter, and then maybe the feet and up it's going to be darker. So I'm going to start with maybe a darker purple. I'm going to lightly go from the bottom up to about halfway, and you can see before and after. And I'm gonna take maybe a warm yellow and go from the top down. So now there's some variation. You can see how that really does make a difference, and you can always add different color variations. Like I could add some blue into the shorts if I wanted. Could add like any color, it's up to you. This is really, it's really whatever you feel like doing. If you want to get rid of the color, just take a gray, and that sort of gets rid of some of the effects. So I felt it was getting a bit too dark near the middle, maybe a bit too light at the face. And maybe we could lighten up the tops of the shoes that's catching the light. So there, now we've got some color variation, and you can see that really the difference between that, it's like, yeah, it's kind of finished, and then that just adds a lot more to it, and it tricks you into thinking there's a lot more going on than there really is. So yeah, that's the next step. And then from there, if I wanted, I could add some highlights on the metallic surfaces, and all you want to do for that is just click on the flat layers, select your metal. So in this case, just make sure the contiguous is off, because if it was on, then let's say I just select this, it's only going to select this area. But you want to make sure contiguous is off, so it'll select all your layers. And then you can make a new layer above the flat colors, set it to color dodge mode, and then beside, see this name, layer 3, well, we can rename it to shiny, and click beside that to the right of it, double click, and it'll open this layer style window. And then there's these two boxes under advanced blending. You just want to uncheck those boxes, so none of these boxes are checked. Click OK, and now you can pick whatever color you want. Because it's set to color dodge, the darker the color, the less effect it's going to have, so it's going to allow you to be more gradual. So what I mean is, let's say I took a very bright white, see, that's going to blow out that color really fast, but if I pick a dark, it's it's gonna go much slower and it gives me a lot more control. So I actually want to use a darker color, and I'm going to be making strokes that, again, using a soft brush, that are just, you know, straight up and down horizontal, or very almost like tapping. I'm gently adding to this, and can get some highlight here. So I want it to subtly add on, and I start with a bigger brush, like so. Just get in like the big amount, and then I shrink the brush. And to shrink the brush, you can use the square bracket keys beside the letter P on the keyboard. And that'll start to look somewhat metallic. And then areas I don't want it, like in the shadow, I can just erase those out. And you can do that to other parts. Again, starting with a bigger brush and then sort of getting smaller as you go. And that'll create a smoother gradient. And then again, erasing where you don't want that effect to be. And there's no rule saying you have to do this or don't have to do this. It's just, I just want to show some of the options. So you could have that if you wanted, but if you don't like that effect, you don't need it as well. It's up to you. Or you could just make a new layer like the shadows, and instead of setting it to multiply, you could set it to screen and then just block in highlights the same way. So let's just do that for example. New layer, set it to screen. Again, selecting my lasso, and then let's just say I wanted some rim light on the side of this arm. Well, could just select that, and then take color, fill it, and you'll get some light. So it's looking weird because there's no light everywhere else, but if I had light everywhere else on the body, that wouldn't look so weird. Okay, so now that that's done, we can start thinking about variation